Hello, Resurrection. Today is not Thursday. Today is Wednesday. My Thursday talks will now happen on Wednesday. Wednesday, July the 7th, which I'm doing on Tuesday, so I'm thoroughly confused right now. But we are moving the Thursday talk to Wednesday. Maybe we'll just call it the weekly talk, right? And simplify things. We're moving it to Wednesday because by the time we get the e-bulletin out to you. Wednesday night has already happened, and usually Thursday morning with Women of the Covenant has already happened. So we're going to move it up a day early. So you will be getting your Thursday bulletin, your e-bulletin, on Wednesdays from now on. And this is my weekly talk, not my Thursday talk. And that is one of the ways that we are resetting and trying to use new eyes on our old situation here at Resurrection. I've been warning you for a while that a big reset is coming. I know it's coming. I know that it's here with you too, in your homes or your work. Or uh, I had a small panic attack when I got back into the office from vacation today. I started talking with Deacon Susie and with Pat and with Elizabeth about some upcoming events, and I realized that yo, we're back to school in like 3 weeks. And I have let that sneak up on me. I don't know how I've let that sneak up on me so. But the reset is beginning here at church, and I wanted to talk to you about that a little bit because it's time. It's time to roll up our sleeves at church and get back to work just like it is everywhere else. And so Deacon Susie and I had a long talk this morning, a good meeting, and we wanted to jot down just a few of the groups that we have at Church of the Resurrection. A few of the groups that we need to make sure that each group has some way to plug in. And so we thought we'd jot down 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 of the groups, and we ended up with a list that looks like this, group after group after group after group after group. And it is time for us to make sure everybody has a way to plug in. Now, that's almost always the problem in a church our size. We have more folks than we have resources, right? That's the hallmark of one of those transitional size parishes, which is where we are in a lot of ways. The way you know that you have entered into the next category, which is a program size parish, it's when your resources begin to catch up with your needs, and we're just not there yet. Now that's not a plea for money. Money wise, we're okay. We're not rolling in the money, but we're doing all right. You know, I always say that Jesus never promised us that we would have an abundance of resources. He promised us that we would have just what we need, and that we are to consider the lilies of the field because God provides for them every day. And my goodness, He provides for us every day too. We're okay. We're doing just fine. But the thing that we're short on right now, we're short on opportunities to plug in. We're short on folks who have the time to help us do the things that we need to do. Uh, we could put 1,000 people to work if we had 1,000 people. But the folks who are able to help us have got their sleeves rolled up, and we're resetting with some of them. You may be getting calls in the next few weeks from someone on staff asking you to help us out in some way, whether they want you to think about leading a group or teaching a class or helping out with office things or with financial things. You name it. We've got a million places that we can plug you in. But first and foremost was the work that Deacon Susie and I did today. We are going to take all of those different groups, and we're going to begin making sure that everybody has a way to plug in if they'd like to plug in. So Deacon Susie and I are going to take a day or two to ruminate over this. And then next week, we're going to have a big staff day. And the church staff is going to get together, and we will continue to uh, brainstorm that thing. Pat and Elizabeth are the first line in making sure that we have what we need. And Pat and Elizabeth have their thumb on the pulse pretty well around here too. So the next step is with the staff, and then when our staff comes together and we start to identify some things, that's when we're going to bring the vestry in, and we're going to have a vestry day, wardens and vestry day, and we'll begin to address some of those issues. And I hope that not in the next 3 weeks, but I hope maybe by January, you'll be able to see a much larger menu, if you will, of ways that you can plug in at Resurrection. Now, when I put out the announcement that we're working on all of this, that it's time, that's also an invitation to you. It's an invitation for you. If you've got a bright idea, now is the time to let me know about your bright idea. Now, let me give you some tips on talking to me about your bright ideas. One, if you never hear anything back from me about it, do not assume that means that I didn't hear you. It may just mean that I've gotten 100 different suggestions, and that I've thought about yours. Might think it's a great idea, and we may be moving forward with it, and I just haven't updated you. So ask me about it again. I never mind that. Hey, Chad, what did you decide about this or that? Or I may say, gosh, we talked about that in the narthex or in the parking lot, and it never made it back to my desk. So a good way to talk to me is to send me an email. I'm going to confess to you that 95, 6, 7, 8% of what we talk about in the narthex never makes it back to my office. That's because there's a line of people that we're talking to. So if you want to make sure that it gets some attention, that something we talk about gets some attention, email me about that or give me a call during the week. I often say, standing in the narthex, that's a great idea. Do me a favor and shoot me an email, because I won't remember standing here in the narthex. That's true about almost everything. If you ever talk to me about a surgery date or a procedure or something like that that's time sensitive in the narthex, and you don't see me pull out my phone right then and put it in my calendar right then, you can assume that I'm going to drop the ball on that. So make sure you follow up with me the next week. So now is the time that I'm throwing out the invitation. If you've got a bright idea, let me know about it. Now, there will be some bright ideas that we're not ready for yet. There will be some that are great ideas, but we can't quite make them work just yet. There will be some that are already in the works, and there will be some I've never thought about, and I do a little cartwheel when I hear it from you. But every single idea is a good idea, and I would love to hear that from you. As I look across my list here, I see, gosh, y'all, 30, 35 different groups that need a way to plug in, and we will not be able to get all of that done as quickly as we want to get it done, but as long as we start working toward it. So this is the time when I have to do a better job at empowering our lay leadership, and Susie's pushing me on that, and Pat and Elizabeth are pushing me in a good way on that as well. We have the most capable lay folks in the entire world. We have the highest functioning group of lay folks I've ever seen. And sometimes don't wait to be asked, I think, is what I'm going to say to you. Barrel right on in here, and if you have something that God has put on your heart, something that you need or feel like we need to do together, you let me know. Now, what is more difficult in the church is when we identify things that we need, but no way to move forward on those. Well, I can do that all day, right? I know all the things we need. What I need help doing them. So if you've got a bright idea, come to me with a way that we can get that done as well. Be willing to talk back and forth about it. Be willing to tell me what you think the pitfalls might be. Be willing to hear from me where I think problematic spots might be. We'll go back and forth, and we'll figure out a way forward. But it is the time to do that here at the church, don't you think? I feel like we don't quite have enough going on right now. The pandemic is, for all intents and purposes, it is the pandemic and the isolation is done. We still have to be careful. Everybody needs to be vaccinated, but it's time to get back to work. It's time to no longer use that as an excuse. We got things to do. Now, as we're resetting at the church, it's probably a good time for you to use this to think about resetting some things at home or in your life or at work as well. Uh, I told you last week there are so many folks that have decided that this is the time for them to reevaluate. We've got people moving away. Some folks who've said we've always wanted to live closer to our grandchildren who are taking this opportunity to do that. That's sad for me to see folks go, but it's great the reasons that they're going. We've got folks who are working new jobs. We've got folks who, we have a lot of people right now who've decided to take some time and work on their marriage, which is such a good and healthy thing. Everybody needs to work on their marriage. It's such a good and healthy thing. But now is the time that I think we've been given an invitation from the Lord Jesus himself to think about where we are and where we need to go and to reset and to take steps toward that. We're doing it at church. The Joneses will certainly be doing it at home. And I invite you to join with us. We keep talking about these really long seasons of Lent that we're having. We're going into a third really long Lenten season right now. But now is the time to rethink, just like Lent. Now is the time to rethink those things. We're doing it at church. I invite you to do it at home too. Y'all, give me your ideas. I can't do them all, but every now and then we'll find one that'll just be life-changing for us at Resurrection. I can't wait to hear those things. I also want to tell you that I love you and that I love being your priest, and I am so grateful for the lay folks that we do have at Resurrection. I've already said that you're the highest functioning group of church folks I've ever seen. That is truth, and I don't have the words to express how grateful I am to God that He's brought us all together. I'm grateful to you as well, and I can't wait to see you. I'll see you on Sunday or maybe on Wednesday, 6 o'clock.